Okay,
good
we're
morning.
live.
Afternoon,
Hello.
evening.
Yes. Let's
We did
see.
not just join this. I'm very prepared.
Yeah, I should probably just check YouTube a minute and tweet about it. Because they didn't have like a countdown and all this fancy stuff. Oh yeah, looks like okay. We're totally here.
We're going to break Twitter with our excitement.
Okay.
Hello, internet
Hi,
friends.
Kendra Havens. Yeah, guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I work on the Visual Studio for Mac team here at Microsoft.
And I'm Cody Beyer. I work on the developer division. I can't talk today. Division at Microsoft, working on developer tools. And I just realized that Kendra's Twitter handle is Goth Early Access Program. So.
No, it's Got Heap.
Oh, it's not Goth EAP?
No. Oh. Haven't we talked about this on the stream before?
This rings a bell.
Probably like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everything
sorry.
old is we're like a superhero movie. We just repeat the same thing over and over.
And it seems to sell. No.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kendra Havens. I'm a program manager on .NET and Visual Studio, if you're new around here. This week is just going to be like a casual chat, geeking out after .NET Conf. I have like a bunch of links to share about where to get the keynote, where to find the playlist list of all of the very, very cool talks in there, and where to like download Visual Studio, that kind of thing. So I'll go ahead and pop that in the chat. I'm so prepared this morning, obviously.
I feel like there's this general. So we had a huge week last week with the releases of Visual Studio 2022, .NET 6, Visual Studio for Mac. We put out our next preview release. And there's so much activity that goes on and people presenting for that, us talking about it. And then internally, we're also in this phase now as it comes into the US holidays. There's a rhythm of our business that sort of just gets into this time of the year where things are it starts to feel this way a little bit. Like we're just kind of celebrating the wins on to the next thing and just kind of a little bit of a lull in the week after.
Inertia. Oh my gosh.
In high school, it's like senioritis, right? Where like we got our, we're kind of just going into a relaxation mode.
That's exactly what I'm feeling, actually. I wanted to ask, are you guys doing the .NET customer workshop this week?
I'm not.
So they have. So I think they've only rounded up part of the teams, but so they got like the PMs, UX designers, and some of the dev leads in these, like it's like a 4-day customer workshop where we're interviewing people and then we all talk about what they said. So it's like 6 people and we're just interviewing one customer. But it's been really interesting. But they're like challenging us already to talk about .NET 7. And I'm like, no, I'm still celebrating .NET 6 and everything that happened. I know we have to plan now, but I'm totally getting senioritis inertia. I'm not ready for summer vacation.
Let's talk about .NET, or let's talk about Windows 12 and .NET 2030.
I'm still getting used to Windows 11. Are you on Windows 11 yet?
Yeah, on my Surface I am. Yeah, I like it. I got the Surface Studio because it looked cool, and Panos made me want to buy it, so I bought it.
It's been difficult. Like, I do think it's better and everything. I like more of the UI interactions, but there's some things that they broke. I'm sure they'll fix it, but things like if you have any kind of notification on your taskbar will stay there and it won't automatically hide. So if you're trying to access anything like at the bottom of your screen, you have to like check your notifications so that the taskbar lowers and you can go back to. And there's like a ton of stuff at the bottom of screens. Like in Outlook, you can't like change if you're on email versus calendar because it's at the very bottom left,
Are you a full screen type person?
Well, you have to be when you're demoing. They always say, oh, you got to auto hide your taskbar and your clock.
You can't hide the clock either. That's the other thing.
You can't?
No, you can't hide the clock.
I think you can. Challenge.
I don't know. Who was talking about that? I think it was Brady or something. I was talking to somebody about Windows 11. They're like, I can't hide the clock. It's a pain.
It is a pain. It's in like a different area and everything.
I'm on macOS right now.
I'm like gonna search for it now. I'm gonna be totally derailed this.
We're gonna break the news on our live stream about how to
system icons. I was gonna share my screen in a minute, but
Night. Well, you have to hide the clock first. People won't know they don't want to know what time it is in the
They
vicinity.
can't know. They can't know that time is passing. We need to exist in a void.
This is so professional that they might think it's pre-recorded.
That's true. Because I was super prepared and everything.
Yeah, for me, I these days do most of my Windows work in a virtual machine. I haven't gotten my update prompts because I'm spending all my time on the Mac right now, but been anxious to download it. Been wanting to get it running on here because I'm always a big fan of the Windows management features. I've added external tools on my Mac when I moved over to the Mac a few years ago, so I could try and get things like Windows Snap, and I'm really anxious to try out the new window positioning stuff. Love those.
It's great. I think that is alone it's the best of both worlds between like a tiling window manager that people seem to like, but also a non-tiling one. So like you can arrange your windows. I use Better Touch Tool on Mac. I don't know if we're allowed to say product names. I use a tool that makes for better touch interaction. That gives you that same kind of window snap feature. And the bane of the suburban life is outside, so it might be.
The lawnmower.
Yes, and it's a leaf blower in the fall.
On a Thursday?
Yeah.
All right.
Mondays
leaf blower,
and Thursdays, there's always leaf blowers out there.
Oh my God, Cody, I think you're right. I think I've only ever been hiding the taskbar now. Okay. Wow. Interesting. It was like major guidance. Okay, what's the other thing about this? They changed Paint. Paint's probably one of my most used tools for mockups. I just do Paint and PowerPoint. That's all I do. PowerPoint for layers and like text rendering and any kind of adjustments you want to do in Paint to like actually fix individual pixels. I've tried everything else under the sun. I didn't like it.
I think one thing I've noticed with like mockup, like you either have things that are a little bit too basic or way too advanced. Like there's not a middle ground in mockup tooling or in flow charting.
Yeah. With Balsamic, I think like part of me is broken just because I expect some things to be very, very simple, like taking a screenshot and pasting it in and using that to duplicate any kind of image. And Balsamic kind of hates these things, or at least it did. I did think there was something I was doing wrong, like I was, I don't know. But yeah, it was really, there were just a lot of hangups when I was using it.
I mean, Figma's nice though. How is Figma Shark coming along? Jordan, do you know if that's still kind of?
Yeah, well, so also clarifying for everybody on here, the tools we're talking about, Balsamic is if you're not familiar, really cool. I think mostly an online tool with a client app, right? For wireframe level. So that's where you're getting the outline level kind of, UI layout. And then Figma is a design tool. And on the Mac side, we have an extension our team worked on called Figma Sharp that lets you take the UI elements and it generates declarative C# code to draw Mac OS UI using native Cocoa APIs. Basically, it uses Xamarin Mac behind the scenes, which is what we use for Visual Studio for Mac. So when you mention Figma Sharp Cody, that one is a tool some folks might be interested in if you play around at all with some native Mac development. Yeah, but the team has been moving that forward, and we keep doing little fixes to it as we work on new UI, like the newest release of VS Mac that we're working on is going all native UI, and so Figma Sharp is a big piece of some of the simple pieces of UI that we can simply draw up in Figma and then just create the UI code from it. So still going at it. Jose and Hilka on our team are the two people who really do a lot with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think in the link for Figma Sharp, it shows kind of the VS for Mac start screen. So like the new project screen, and that's it's a pretty good setup.
That's so cool. Yeah. Thanks for explaining these random products that I mentioned, Jordan. Thank you. Super cool. I love like jumping in there. All of our UX designers use Figma quite a lot, but I've impressed a few UX designers with my paint skills before. Cool. So we can talk a little bit more about .NET Conf. I could probably demo a few things if we're interested in seeing code. I think there's a few things that I've never shown on here because they were checked in like right at 17.0 GA end of end of the cycle there. So it we snuck a few things into 17.0 before we released it. Okay. guess I'll do that.
Just do that.
Now that I'm talking about it, might as well. Okay, let's see. I can share my screen.
What does... next year changes emoji.
Oh, somebody's trying to play around with sending emojis, and StreamYard says, no, you don't get to do that. It's replacing it looks like, with other characters.
Yeah, when I do like a list, like an A, B, C, D list, when I do B parentheses, it's like it makes the cool looking guy with the sunglasses or the cool looking girl with the sunglasses icon, the emoji, and so I can never do my ordered list like I like to. That's my big complaint for the day, everybody.
Yeah. So I might have shared my audio wrong. Let me know if you guys are getting an echo. Let me share my screen.
Sounds great.
You're doing okay with audio, yeah? No echoes?
Okay, good. It gave me like a warning, which I hadn't seen before. StreamYard was like, make sure you're not ruining someone's day. Okay.
Oh, this
That's
is
just
now...
advice in general, though.
I am immediately jumping in on this, Kendra, because I think there's something that I hadn't caught. The yellow tab you've got going on there on your ID. I'm going straight to the tab. Colors look like they're different.
Yes. Tab colors are different. Tab colors are now ordered by project, or they're organized by project. So all of the tabs in the same project. So all of these are purple and they're in the same. And then I have my visible planets tests, which are in a test project, so separate from my solar system, and OS information is in another test project. So color tabs, organizing your projects.
And actually, I missed that made it in with the release. That's awesome.
We haven't talked about it a ton. I think we had a blog post, but like we got to talk about it more. We got to actually call it out. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff you might notice, like new icons and everything. They're a lot more transparent. The new dark theme actually can be presented on by default because we improved the contrast colors. Before, some of the contrast and highlighting wasn't up to code. But now we can present with it. So that's why I think for the first time in the keynote, we saw more people using dark themes rather than blue themes. And I think our docs might all switch to dark theme. For Visual Studio 2020. I've heard rumors. Some people are like, yes, we're doing it. And other people are like, I don't know, I haven't heard. So
wait, there's no dissent? I'm in the vote of no dark theme. We've had
no dark theme for docs?
For anything.
But why? Tell me why.
Well, okay, so mainly the reason why I don't use dark theme is unless everything is dark, the contrast is irritating. So I go to, open up Paint or not Paint, what's a website, and it doesn't have dark mode support, so then it's blindingly bright. So I'd rather just have everything equally blinding and switch back and forth.
Okay, yeah, so you're just getting kind of a slight tan off of your monitor.
Yeah, that's...
Ooh. But why not just, do you sleep well? Is it blue light? You don't have any, I don't know, problems?
Glasses have that blocking thing, see?
Night work? Oh, well, you have glasses. See, that's a superpower that that's awesome.
My terrible eyesight is my superpower.
No wonder it doesn't bug you. Yeah. So actually now, though, things that are eyesores for me is all of our tools options pages. We gotta get these themed, Now that we have project properties pages themed with the new project properties page. I know. Quick little demo here. It's beautifully themed. It stays, with your main colors. It's one continuous scroll with a really nice kind of navigation thing over here, but it's all one page. So you kind of scroll up and down. It's so lovely and themed. Why isn't tools options like this? We should totally have... We should get McKenna on tools options. She's the one who made the this property pages thing.
That's great.
It would be so cool.
I feel like I had to use some Vaslov design in the color in there too.
Oh yes, I'm sure yes. Sorry, her the designer. She probably... Yeah. I know she just owns property pages.
No, I mean the icons, the folder icon looks like a...
Yeah.
Some Vaslov on it.
Oh yeah. I really do like our new icons. I don't know why. It's just sort of I don't know. Maybe it's a vanity thing. The light theme? Let me turn it on. Let me get a real live reaction. Because as soon as everyone put their sunglasses on. Oh, there we go.
The contrast changes across the board for those icons are very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is system.
Hold up. This is kind of cool. My Windows theme is dark as well. So my Office app and everything, and my Outlook and everything, it's all of my Office apps. They're all dark theme. I'm just using a system setting. I'm not actually using dark, which is dark. It just adapts to it. So you can kind of tell if I go to like settings, all of my windows open up.
Oh, now
this is
everybody
my
knows
Windows
it's
11. This is like a Windows 11 demo as well.
Yeah.
There was a question in the chat while we're going right now about any
Yeah.
other Windows 11 specific features in VS 2022, if there are any.
Yeah. I was trying to think about that. Rounded corners. No, I'm trying to think beyond that. There's some things that I know, some limitations of things we weren't able to bring over. Stuff like we had some tools that had a dependency on Internet Explorer, which I don't think you have to do some fancy things to get it. I'm not sure if you can install it on Windows 11. I think a lot of people are blocked by like administrators or whatever, but yeah, so there's some things that we don't have because Windows 11, the operating system, doesn't support like Internet Explorer officially. Trying to think what else.
Only thing I can think of off the top of my head, and it's not necessarily .NET specific, but it would be like the WSL graphics layer. So on Windows 11, you can install. Oh, the computer's putting its sunglasses on.
Did it refuse?
Oh, beautiful! I like the blue theme the most. This is a little bit too bright for my taste. But.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with them.
No, the WSL graphical layer, so you can run like Linux apps in Windows through WSL. I don't know if that's in Windows.
Oh yeah, good point.
WSL's Windows subsystem for Linux, Cody, right?
Yeah. Windows subsystem for Linux, and the WSL2
you have to enable
allows you to run graphical UIs. So like you can run. There's an app called Awkward, RKWARD, for the R programming language. That is a pretty good R IDE that I use sometimes. So I'll use WSLG for that.
Oh wait, I didn't realize I'm in preview right now. I should be using RC.
Oh.
Oh, I remember why I did that. I only had I had the wrong things installed. Let me go ahead and start up my. See, I was doing things with the Visual Studio installer.
OpenJDK.
OpenJDK. So we got this question during the Visual Studio QA. It was, does Visual Studio support Java? And I knew we installed the JDK, so I was like, yeah, but we totally don't. We installed the JDK for like Android components, which I didn't know of anyway. I was super embarrassed, but Mads Christian Center corrected me. And I swear we had a Java extension years ago. Because we were trying to do the like, any language, any developer, anywhere. I don't know. Okay, let me install.
Android, yeah, Java.
Oh, this is kind of a new thing.
A lot of installations there.
I know. I have so many installations. So side by side install, everyone. You don't have to fully commit. I still have 2019. I still have 2017 installed side by side, multiple versions of 2022. I have a crazy life. Okay. Where's current? Oh yeah. So this current word was kind of confusing people a little bit on at least the launch day. This just means LTS. This is just our GA 17.0. We chose the word current to mark it, but it confused people more. So
I think no matter what you do, like LTS, people go like, what does LTS mean? You're like, ooh, I like this.
Long-term servicing or long-term support. It has to do with our life cycle. It means it'll be supported for 10 years, I think.
And GA is greatly awesome, right?
It's greatly awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the acronym. I thought you were like just making a general comment.
No, I was like, oh, by the way, here's an acronym I thought of.
Weird. Weird word choice, but yeah. Okay. I feel like I jumped from topics a little bit too quickly. I feel like we had a chat.
Oh, you were trying to switch over to the actual current release. The GA release of Visual Studio 2022.
Oh yeah, someone asked me what version I was on, so I opened it and then I got distracted by not being on the version I thought I was on. Because yesterday I was doing stuff with workloads.
The person in Twitch brought up a good point that you have like the lightest background in the world as your desktop background, but like it's literally coming through a window. Yeah.
Oh, I'm an imposter.
There's
That's
a
so right.
juxtaposition there. That's awkward.
Ooh, kind of caught up. Okay. It is. What am I doing? But okay, in my defense, this is one of the new .NET bot wallpapers that we haven't released yet. It's like zoomed in on this screen. But oh, actually, I think it was in my system. What did I look up? Settings? Because when this app appeared, it showed me like a mini preview of my desktop, and it was super
cute. I like that. I like that. I like those kind of like.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Like on my Surface, it'll show like the outline of a surface. I think that's a fun.
Hey, real quick, like sorry to bounce you around here, Kendra, but somebody's pointing out we got a smaller audience this time of like 41 people. No, we're in the usual channels though, right? Sometimes tricky, sometimes to know if all those. I think you checked it as soon as we jumped on, so it might just be.
I mean, yeah, I did. We're on .NET. I guess I didn't check if we were on the main .NET channel, because one time we got a huge boost in views when we changed from streaming on something to the .NET YouTube channel. Let me look it up really quick. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, and then somebody's pointing out C# for it. Sometimes we do that.
I don't pay attention to. Oh, I'm competing with C# Fritz. That
We've had those.
We should invite Fritz to these more. Scott Hunter told me Fritz and I should have a podcast because he likes. I don't know. We have some fun interactions. Cool. Okay. Anything else we missed in chat? I've been.
So TG wanted to know about the thread window to do analyze multi-threading in menu debug thread window. So the debug menu and then.
Yeah. Debug. Is it supposed to be right there? The thread window is still available.
Let's show off the amazing search features. There
we go. I actually did have a mentee commenting that there was some diagnostic tool windows that he couldn't find. Actually, no, he wasn't on 2022 yet, though.
Can someone tell me why you installed .NET Core why install .NET Core SDK? I'm on Mac in VS Code for my tiny console app. Well, so the SDK for .NET Core doesn't come naturally on the Mac as it does with some other Windows versions. So you have to install the SDK really to get the libraries and whatnot that you build against. But I believe when you compile it down, it does not need the SDK to run. That's correct, right, Jordan?
I am not.
I'm pretty sure I can do it. I can test. I'm on a Mac right now. So yeah, that's, with most of those, you're going to need to install debug Windows threads. TG is, they are.
Yeah, I had been looking for it there and I didn't see it yet. Does it only appear if you're actively debugging?
I prefer
I know this isn't a multi-threaded test though, so. I am rusty. You have to be in runtime.
Ooh, we can download the solar system. That might take a while.
Yeah, it's kind of
get stuck at Jupiter and just spin for a while.
Yeah.
I'm installing the latest update of VS for Mac Preview right now.
Yay! Welcome to the party.
It's a good party to do.
Oh yeah, Jordan, you had a talk on Visual Studio for Mac Preview, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to be back. First time back in the studio. When I went to that too. Yeah, so what we did was we released. So the video is out there. With all the launch event stuff we had. I think it was just last Monday. And the core of it was showing off Preview 3 of Visual Studio for Mac. The main thing we've been doing in this release was moving the whole IDE to native UI, where previously we were on a combination of languages, of UI toolkits. And so the talk was demoing the product, what's new there, some new features like our Get Changes window. And then we also teed up that we're moving to get M1 native processor support. So in Mac world, Apple's M1 processor is their ARM64 processor that they're moving toward. right now you can run x64 apps in this Rosetta translation layer, and that's how VS Mac is today, but we're going natively for M1 to ARM64. And to do that, we'll be running on top of the .NET Core CLR. And so we teed that up and talked a little bit about it in my presentation. And so those are some of the kind of exciting things to share that we've been looking into that, and that'll be coming soon. And then, yeah, just demoing this new look and feel of the IDE and some of the changes in the tooling that's in there.
Nice. Whoops, didn't mean to click on that. There we go. Oh, very cool. Okay, so I found the threading window. I didn't need to be actually currently debugging, but it looks like it still, shows all of my threads, worker threads, main thread, all of that. I can check out locations and that kind of thing, if that's what the question was looking for. Still on Windows 11 and NVS 2022.
And the hot reload icon is so hot.
And it's so hot. You want to look at some hot reload? I feel like everyone should have seen this demo like 50 times by now. I can show a little bit different of variation. This was in my talk. So actually, if I stick to builds, let's like clear the window. And you can turn on hot reload specifically in the test explorer. So not just when you're debugging, but when you're actually running tests, you can avoid builds in between actually changing tests. It'll hot reload the test itself. So it is experimental. You have to turn it on. So enabling hot reload and all that. And initially, you do have to have at least one build on your machine. So it might go ahead and run a build. So, okay, 2 up to date. So build started and all of that. And it ran a test, right? Okay, so what if I make some changes? What if I did something like console.writeLine? Hi, Cody and Jordan.
Fine, I'll get Cal.
Oh, wait. This is cool. Another little feature that I absolutely adore. If I type a semicolon, even though my cursor is in the wrong place inside of parentheses, it just puts it in the right place at the end of the statement.
That's pretty
Why
cool.
is it so satisfying?
It's like, I'm in IDEs enough that when I like click on a word and then, or double click and select a word and then like do a quote, if it replaces it with a quote instead of quoting a thing, I get so confused and angry.
Oh, no.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this test, and I have hot reload on, and I've already done a successful build, and nothing is happening in the build window, and yet it's going to rerun, and actually we'll go ahead and check the output. Cool way to check the output. Right-click Show in Test Explorer, pops that open, and now we can see, oh, I should have put this in a different place. Oh, there it is. Hi, Cody and Jordan.
Yay.
Yay. I was afraid it would be lost in the whole RSS feed, but it's actually going to print that with every line. Okay. So cool thing. So it hot reload the test. Notice the output window. It doesn't have any of the build output, even though I made actual changes. So avoiding builds in between test runs, even though you have changes, is super cool.
Yeah, hot reload is like it's a killer feature. I mean,
so killer. Some of the limitations for testing is some hot reload. Well, freaking hot reload. This blows my mind that it's backwards compatible with certain versions of .NET Framework, which is bananas because it can actually patch like the runtime as you debug. With testing, you can't do that because we just haven't, we don't do that. Your test has to be targeting .NET 6 or later. It is bananas that that you don't have to be targeting .NET 6 to get it when you're F5ing necessarily. Oh, it's just so cool.
Oh,
okay.
That's cool.
But that's experimental.
I love this. I'm a big, and when I do my programming time, I'm a long-time test-driven development person. So that idea of being able to stay in the test and the hot reload piece would be really nice to avoid, because the worst was that my projects got more complicated. The build times took forever for my red-green refactor loop. And so just to have I can imagine this speeding that along quite nicely for us. A bunch of just quickly iterating the code and building it out.
Yeah. Okay, we had a question, what is hot reload? And I'll go ahead and link the blog post TG if you want to take a look at it. It's freaking awesome. It's almost hard for me to explain exactly how it works. We do some swapping of bits so we don't have to completely rebuild binaries in between changes. Yeah.
Not just not just soul searching, but like computer introspection.
What is hot reload? That kind of thing. Cool. I feel like we got a few more questions, and I didn't want to derail with.
I'm not going to try to say the name Snabble. Inline Lambda is one of the coolest. Inline Lambda is one of the coolest features. I agree. Is there a way that I can explicitly to open the file to see main method? Oh, right. So that caught me off at first too. I do file new.
And yeah, and it looks like I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was like, what? When that happened.
Where's my program file? Here it is. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. So this is what it looks like. No main. It just runs, which can be super disorienting. But this is top level statements in C#10. And yeah, so if you're using .NET 6 and everything, you're going to get the latest language version, unless you like explicitly set it differently. It's also bananas. I'm actually kind of wondering if we're ever going to. I wouldn't be like surprised if we created some kind of code fix and refactoring that switched it back from main to not to top level statements, because I think it is disorienting for people, and sometimes it's just nice to have like a preview of what it would look like in the syntax that you're used to.
I'm
not the first time I've heard it.
I'm getting up there in age. I'm on the other side of 35, and I like my IDEs, to be what they were when I was a youngin. So that I think there is a link when you do file new to explain the changes. And I think you can revert to showing main. I'm not sure, but that's I'm not a huge fan of change. But I understand it. The world moves on without me.
So David is asking, hot yearly test is awesome. Too bad we need to upgrade from 4.7.2 to 6.0. I just want to point out, we don't talk enough about the .NET Upgrade Assistant. We do have a global tool that will search through files, even going back to projects targeting 3.5, and help you update your using statements and directives and everything to use the latest stuff so you can get up to .NET 6. And let me go ahead and share that tool in the chat just in case you may have already heard of it, but I'll share it just in case that caught some people's interest. So it's definitely, and it's actually really easy to upgrade from .NET 5 to .NET 6 as well. If people are also thinking about doing the kind of switch, you can get it now. And you'll get so much performance. Oh, the performance. Sorry. That's another thing. Oh, thank you. Find Classics. You noted that Maui we have released that Maui full support, or at least going, production ready was April 2022. Little delay there, but it needs to be production ready. So,
first one to say what Maui means wins a high five.
Multi-application UI framework.
Oh, you win.
Maybe not framework. Maybe just multi-application UI.
Yeah, but it did be Maui, which isn't as fun to say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it is kind of the next evolution of Xamarin Forms, if people are really familiar with that and the brand and what they were able to do with it. Kind of cross-platform UI frameworks is what we're all about. WebView launcher framework. Yeah. Cool. So I went through this one thing really quickly that I wanted to revisit because it's going to be a few people's all-time favorite feature. Right-click in a test and show in Test Explorer, and it'll pop up the Test Explorer window and expand and highlight the node that you want to be looking at, which is really cool. So we kind of had this with the Solution Explorer before. It's called Sync with Active Document. And it hops the highlight of that window to the page that you have open in the editor. So people are like, we need the same thing for tests. So it does have a keyboard shortcut. I can do Control-ES, and it pops open the Test Explorer. Even if the Test Explorer is entirely like closed and everything, I can do Control-ES, and it will reopen that window. Yay.
Nice.
Just geeking out about testing things. There's a bunch of cool productivity stuff as well. Lots of new things in the Razer Editor that's just kind of bringing that up to speed. Yeah, so kind of different colorization, different code highlights. be pretty cool. It can support heart reload, all of those things. Yeah. I didn't want to take all of our time, even though I'm excited. Cody, Jordan, is there anything you wanted to show during the live stream, stuff you were geeking out from .NET Conf? I thought Cody was like, maybe. I might have some things. I got to change my theme back to dark or use system settings. I'm going nuts. Oh, one thing about the themes. Something really cool. So Grace Taylor wrote a blog post about this a while ago, but we have packs for all of the default VS Code themes to get them in Visual Studio. And not only that, they built a tool, Grace Mads Christensen and who is it? I think John Papa's theme. They built a tool to convert VS Code themes directly into Visual Studio themes. To get all of kind of the colors and popular stuff. So then they converted a lot of the popular ones. Like one is like Winter is Coming. And it looks very cool in Visual Studio to get all of those things directly from VS Code of, geeking out about colors and nice themes, the theme of the month and all of that. So if you're really into themes, I would check out the theme blog post on that. It's pretty cool.
I think Mads also has go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to give a shout out to I think Kidding. She was in our VS Mac team for a bit, did a lot of the dev work on that conversion tool as well. So I think they linked to it in the blog post about that tool for people to check out. If I remember right.
Yeah, I'll try to find it and put it in chat if people are like, ooh.
Y'all want to see some VS for Mac file new? Just get a taste of the Jordan or me. That's up to you. We can rock paper scissors it.
Oh, if you want to take a look, I've demoed this. I think one of the stand-ups a little while ago, and then the launch event activity. So if you want to show some stuff there, Cody, it'd be fun. I can watch how you would talk about it. That's always fun.
Yeah, I'll do a quick quick file new on this. Let me go to Do Not Disturb. So.
Okay, let me think if there's anything I want to talk about before I hand over the reins. Standard output appears in the Test Explorer, so console.writeline and standard out and standard error all work and appear printed in the Test Explorer summary pane. So, and it has like collapsible sections. So you got your stack trace, you got standard error and all of that. Just kind of nice little things. I'm focused all in testing because that was what my most recent talk was in, but all of this app can do productivity stuff too. One of the things that I absolutely love is, well, first off, you can simplify new expressions to not repeat the type name now. That's a feature. And what is it? One of the later C# versions. I can't remember if it was 10 or 9. So I can fix all of these occurrences in the whole document and apply. So now it just says new. So it kind of takes out that extra information that you have on the right side that's already like explicitly obvious. But if you really miss that kind of thing, something like inline variable name hints can add glyphs to your editor. So right now I'm holding down Alt F1 and I get these little glyphs back, which is really cool. I also get, this was a var, so I'll release it. So var, and then I hold it down. Cool. Yeah, so I hold it down and then it puts in this little glyph in my editor. So it doesn't change my source code. It's just kind of the view over it. So if I really hate var, I can actually trigger this to turn on all the time and just have it overlay in my editor. So I never see var again, but I don't have to argue with my coworkers about code style. It's just a view that's changed for me, which we had that request. Another cool thing, I'll hold down Alt F1 again. Things like parameters. So I'm reading parameters into system date time. If I forget which one's the month or the day or the year or something like that, Inline Hints can help with that. If you love this feature, you can turn it on in text editor. Let's see, that one's for Visual Basic, but I want the one for C#. Now let me go hints. That'll probably help. There we go. C# advanced. Scroll to the bottom, I think. And this is Inline Hints. So I have it right now, display all hints while pressing Alt F1 because I don't want them on all the time. But it's pretty cool, but you can have them display them all the time, and then you can kind of factor it down if you don't want it to show for indexers or specifically new expressions or something. There's a bunch of places you can toggle for where you do want those little glyphs to show. Super neat. Tell the Roslyn team thank you.
That is amazing.
If you like it. Okay, you ready to go, Cody?
Yeah, I can show some stuff. We're going to share my screen. I'm not going to get into, if you have a share my screen.
Oh yeah, the other piece for me doing any kind of a demo is we're working on the ability to do drag and drop of tool windows. So this has been in Visual Studio. We had a version in the older version of VS for Mac, and the new UI we hadn't worked on that yet. So we're bringing the new drag and drop target hints and things to the UI, but my environment is not in a very happy state from in progress testing in work. So I can tease a cool feature coming, but I can't quite demo it just yet.
I actually haven't updated my machine since I guess just last week, the .NET Conf, because as soon as I'm like, okay, I've run through this demo enough, nothing breaks, let's not touch anything. I'm never on the latest thing.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate the week-to-week
I'm going to be
struggle.
right back because of security reasons.
Oh, screen sharing.
I'll be right back.
Ooh, bye.
Bye.
Security screen sharing reasons. Interesting.
Oh yeah, on the Mac, there's if you haven't shared through the app, there's sometimes you have to set permissions. You'll need to actually like quit and go back into. I think it might be what he's hitting there.
Oh, excellent. The J3000 noticed my Star Trek mug. Okay, let's see if it. Oh shoot! So the other side, when you put, you can still kind of see Captain Kirk when you put hot liquid in it.
Oh, there,
Captain Kirk appears. Okay. Sorry, that's my flex for the day. Whoops. What is the state of T4 from your point of view? Hey, dotnet teams. Hi, Captain. What is T4? Sorry, so since we're talking about .NET tooling, what is the state of T4 from your point of view? Is that
T4 templating in the IDEs? I haven't touched it in a while, but it's a way there's like a markup based like templating language you could use to be able to do code generation, and it powers some stuff behind the scenes at least at one point, but I don't know the current state of all that.
Yeah, there was an earlier, thank you, Cody Shine. There was an earlier question asking if solution files could also be templated in addition to project types. I just wanted to say we really want to do something better with solution files. Oh, Cody's back. Sorry, Cody.
It's okay. I was just sitting there by myself.
We really want to do, we've talked a lot about what solution files expanded capability should look like. I just say there's a lot of, what is that expression? Sticks in the fire. There's a lot of things that we're trying to solve right now.
It's pants in the oven?
Pants in the oven. There's a lot of pants in the oven we're trying to burn. I don't know if that's a relatable metaphor, but there's so many things. There's like multiple different launch profiles and repeatability of solution templates and needing to reset them and everything is definitely on our minds. I'm not sure if we have active fixes in the works. There's still a lot of debate, but we're thinking about it. We definitely have a lot of very highly voted feedback about what solution files could do. So, okay, are you ready for me to share your screen, Cody?
Yeah, just So to make everybody happy, here's dark mode. Oh, look at that. And I can choose my different languages.
It's super tiny. Just so you know.
But in this case, he changed it without a restart. I'm always just that one we haven't had for a while because you had to restart the IDE when you made a theme change. So it's kind of just a nice little.
I may change
my screen. We're living in the future.
My users and groups, displays. This one. Display settings.
Irons in the fire. Thank you, Cody. That's what it is. I was like, sticks? I don't know what burns.
Sticks in the fire don't last very long.
Irons in the fire because then you're like making a sword or something. That makes a lot more sense.
How's the size now? Is that better?
It's still super tiny. go way in.
It's a bit small. I usually bump the resolution
As high as
really
you
Bump
can.
tight.
it 100,000%.
Let's click on this, display settings.
So this should be on Monterey.
Yeah, I'm on Monterey.
Nice.
Ooh.
Is that better?
Did it change?
It's so.
Maybe I have to stop sharing
a
again.
little
Hold on.
better.
It probably works fine for what you were going to look at with the sun time and everything.
Let me share one more time. Let's see.
So this is why I live in 1920 by 1080p on my laptop. It's only with like I never do anything but better than that.
I can't. I have to.
Yeah.
It's 18-point font. Well, I can show you all. Is that better now?
Oh, that looks great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Now
here's so that was actually a good view of the new preferences dialog, which I believe is native now, allowing you to use the Cocoa UI and whatnot. So you can change the languages. I think you can change it. We can restart and change it to Italiano. I think the closest thing I could probably do is German. Okay. Let's see.
Whoa. Here we go.
See if I can understand German. So I mean, the cool thing is though that you can change your interface language pretty easily, pretty quickly there. Let's see.
Something's gone wrong.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's normal to force quit things. Don't pay attention to that screen. Okay, don't pay attention to this crash monitor. That doesn't happen. It's not there. You guys didn't see that.
There's a small like discussion about OpenGL supporting good bindings for .NET now. I knew MonoSharp had a low-level wrapper of C# over OpenGL that people liked.
I'm just grabbing screenshots of this issue to file a bug.
Sweet. Autosave is found. Load and autosave. Let's try to change my language one more time. Maybe I try to change it twice. It was like pick, make your mind up. Deutsche.
Yeah, might not. Yeah, I just skip changing the language for right now. Looks like.
Oh yeah, it's oh geez, it was there. It was there.
Oh,
okay.
You didn't need to restart. Okay.
Yeah.
It was just the theme that you didn't need to restart.
This is
it's real.
Yeah.
How did I miss the T4 text template?
Look at my cool background, everybody.
Now I'm looking at our docs, like, ooh, very cool. Very cool. What is that from?
Ori and the Will of the Wisps. One of my favorite. I don't play a lot of video games.
I've played a little of that. Yeah.
I've always liked that one. All right, so that is the preferences. We won't go through that thing again, but the idea is that this is now a native UI element, and like while it looks pretty similar to what it was, and that's part of the reason back in the GTK days we did our best to mimic a Mac UI, so it looked native, but it still wasn't. There was like that uncanny valley where it wasn't quite native, right? So things look relatively similar to what you might see in 2019 or what have you, but it's now actually native. So those odd little odds and ends will no longer be there. Which I think
uncanny valley by the
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I'm keeping it together. Okay.
There you go. So yeah, that's kind of the new thing there, and I think that's a small but big step. The other one that I like about the nativeness is something that's really important on Mac. Like, let me open a non-native app. Let's see here. I think I do it in VS Code. So if I open a VS Code and I type in the letter D, it doesn't repeat, but also doesn't do what I want it to do, right? Or E, but it does on E. Okay, so it does do that in VS Code. In some editors, if you long press a character, you don't get this accented character thing, which is an important thing for a lot of non-English languages as well, and it's something that you expect in a native Mac IDE or native Mac UI. So that's something that I think is pretty important too. What are some other things about here? We can look at the Git changes. I don't have this as a Git enabled thing, but we have this new, if you notice that nice smooth up and down here, the pull push. This is one of the areas that was kind of in need of some
TLC.
Yes, and TLC exactly was the Git experience within VS for Mac, and now this is a lot more streamlined, a lot more native feeling, a lot faster, and that ends up giving you again a more smooth experience. Which I think that's one of the things that you often see with these UIs and stuff is like you can't. How do I say it? It's hard to, and this is why I'm struggling with it. It's hard to verbalize, what performance is. Like you can't say, well, if it's less than 10 milliseconds, it's slow. If it's more than it's, or it's fast and slow. But by experiencing it, you actually get to feel that. And that's, like if I do console, like the speed at which this pops up, and the speed at which you can switch, you can filter your IntelliSense list. Those types of things are what you end up getting with the experience of native IDEs. Again, the overrides here, the fact there's a drop shadow around it, those things that are, stuff that you expect if you're using it on Mac. And that's what used to happen. I don't think you can turn the old editor on anymore. But you would have like,
oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, the drop shadow wouldn't be there. It's like, why is this feels wrong?
And that would feel.
Yeah. And you end up getting those little things that, they all add up to a more complete experience. And for me, somebody who gets easily distracted, if you could tell, I don't know if you could or not, but
semicolon.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you talking about?
Nice.
Fix it.
And just staring at the red squiggle.
Exactly. Those types of things kind of take your mind out of it. It can break your flow state, right? And I think that's part of the reason why I think that these little design things, the little tweaks, are super important. So it doesn't get you out of there. I mean, this is like you have this filter list. I love this. It's kind of hard to see because I have it on such a massive scaling, but you can filter here. So I can say fix, and it goes into that. And again, it's super fast. It's super performant. It allows you to set all these different things that you want. It gives you the code previews, also at the massive font size that I have. It actually renders the code preview. So I think that's a great little way of giving you the extra stuff. And finally, the other one, again, these are very basic things, but
we've been rated by
I was noticing something else.
by C#
Fritz and the crew.
Hi everyone.
So I'm trying to do like read file, right? Okay, it's not there. Now I'm going to go to Visual Studio preferences. I'm so excited, I can't even talk right. Text editor, general. Where is the IntelliSense? Show import items. Okay, and now I go to file dot. Oops. Oh, maybe that's not working right now either. But so that's it. So again, the quick performance, native overrides telling you, what to type in here. All that I think adds to this, experience of having a more mature feeling IDE. So that's it. Test Explorer is still there. And again, all of these things are fast. Of course, we can just do a quick. I'm going to actually capitalize your name, Kendra. I don't know if you did for me. Kendra.
I didn't. I missed it. I capitalized Jordan's, but not yours.
Cody was very focused on it.
Don't read into it. I'm sorry.
So I just, quick builds it out, runs it, and he's got all the different breakpoints and stuff here. So it's very similar to what you'd expect, but again, it's the speed, the ability to launch a new terminal, so you have your full terminal built in. That's another big thing.
That terminal's so fast. Okay, one of the things I actually filed a bug on this. It was launching the developer PowerShell. It takes like 3 seconds in Visual Studio. And I filed a bug and everything. And they were like, how fast does your regular developer PowerShell launch outside of Visual Studio? And I was like, oh, shoot. It is like 3 seconds. Like they're not delaying it all. It's not, that's great. That's just I don't know. It's just a thing. This is very nice.
And the cool thing about this is it's a full ZSH in this case thing. So I can do all my git, add dot, oops, not the comma, dot. I can do git, commit a, and I get the, I can do the full thing here with VI. So insert a, escape, WQ, exclamation point.
Lovely.
Why am I in VI? That's the problem here.
WQ.
I know.
Escape. Oh, he knows. I know you. I know you.
I use a nano. I'm more of a nano fan here. It tells me what to do right there.
Yeah.
Control X. But you can also do the the git changes view. So there's a lot of different. I already staged them all, so there's not any changes right now. But there's a lot of great things you can do that that I think just makes it feel more at home from where it was in the past.
That is so shiny.
Yeah, so
IntelliSense has
back in.
filters. I'm trying to like catch up with what's new and what's. You were doing a bunch of Git commands from the terminal. Is that I love seeing how differently Git changes windows work. Is this Git changes window a lot like the one in VS, or did you try to do something new like you've done before, like with my light bulbs?
Jordan,
No.
that's more of a.
Oh yeah, this is
That's a
well the
dirty
Git
question.
changes window is bringing the same experience over from Visual Studio on Windows. There's some changes to make it a little bit more Mac-like or work with the native controls better, like how tables work. And
Anything
then
we need to bring back to VS that you think you've improved upon?
there were things that the team found. I can't think of an example right now, but there were some the team found that went back to the VS side. So we're working on this space of trying to be more defaults to be more the same than to be different as we go forward. So Git change is just one example of kind of a longer.
That's such a long Git commit. Why is it? Shouldn't it be giving you a warning? Maybe that's just GitHub. GitHub's like Kendra, be less
There might.
No one cares that much about what you're doing. Yeah. You don't need that many details on your commit.
I mean that so like really that's kind of the thing that I think about. I like about developer tools like this too. Is if you want to use the UI, you can. If you want to use the terminal, you can. So you can also you can even do a .net new. Dot new. That's what it should be called. Why is the command not dot new? So, I mean, you can do all the different stuff within the terminal you want to, so you don't have to leave the context of the IDE. And I will admit, my terminal is in dark mode here. So,
apparently I'm inconsistent. I got that background. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that's
so cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the big takeaway I think from there. And big kudos to Jordan and team and everybody else who's working on that. That kind of like just fast, smooth experience is really what I think is going to take that development experience to the next level.
That was really cool. Yeah, I am particularly interested. I don't know. I feel like there's still so much more to do with Git. Like we didn't nail it 100% in Visual Studio. It's definitely better than what it was. But there's some things where I'm like, oh, I don't trust the stack to pop off things, or like when I switch branches, something unintuitive happens, and I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. I think like when we solve these problems, Git will be like really easy to use and easy to understand, but it won't be for like 10 years, like for new people to learn it, because it's such a concept hit. I don't know. You got to understand a lot really quickly about things in history that you've never needed. There's no metaphor for. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that that one of the difficulties of Git is that there are so many different interaction models, and you can use a very simple just Git pull push branch. Like you can live in that world, but you can also do really advanced things with cherry picking commits and blames and reverts and stuff that I always have to Bing to find out how to do it, or use like a tool. But yeah, so I think that's one of the things that makes it hard, is that there are so many paths you can take to do something in Git that it's hard to both be simple enough that new users can learn it and complex enough that power users don't feel restrained by the feature set. And so that's where I think it gets into that mix there.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can all go back to Visual Source Safe too if you want.
No.
There's one question that popped in about the terminal in Visual Studio. So on the Windows side too, an integrated terminal was probably a year and a half ago. That was also when the terminal came in VS for Mac. So there's an integrated terminal in both tools. Yeah,
it's in there, Fuzzy Life. It's just there. You can launch PowerShell. You can launch the developer command prompt, multiple different things in that shell, right in Visual Studio and Visual Studio for Mac.
WSL launching too, I bet.
That's what Cody was just showing, yeah. And it was super fast.
Why is that
I'm jealous. The terminal in VS Mac.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fun stuff. Now we got people talking about Visual Source Safe.
Oh, VSS, another VS, yeah. I heard someone refer to Visual Studio Code as Visual Code the other day, and I was like, where are these acronyms going to go? Are we going to rebrand someday yet again? I do hate that it's like 3 words, yeah.
Yeah, Visual Code sounds like some of that no code development, like whatever it's called. what's it called?
Yeah, like a Scratch or
power tools or whatever.
Yeah, Power Apps.
Yeah, Power Apps. That's what it is.
Power Apps.
Power tools.
I see one follow-up there from Fuzzy Life on the console. Maybe the console apps by default are actually going to an external one. So that would be like a .NET. So that they might be separated out. Of VS for Mac, we will launch to the embedded integrated terminal, but I don't know if Visual Studio. I was trying to look real quick if there's a setting to change that if you prefer.
It's super customizable. You can point it to any exe on your machine that launches a terminal, and it'll wrap it. As far as what I've seen.
Including the Windows Terminal preview, which I love.
Yes.
Hanselman has some amazing videos and blog posts about a lot of things, but specifically about the terminal, the Windows terminal.
Out with the terminal. It's his fave.
I know. Which is great. Yeah. He has like themes and all these things. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. He was like really excited when you could put like GIFs in your terminal background, I think, for a while. So it was like a zooming star action or like the Rickrolling dance or something like that. Oh my gosh.
That's not distracting.
And before Visual Studio Pumpkin Spice Latte, no whip, half calf. Sorry.
I know it's. I still like the fact that you can do emojis in VS or VS for Mac, but I think the day that we're allowed to do GIFs inside your code is the day that I'm just going to, move to a deserted island.
Is it even possible? Why? Yeah, that'll be wild. Actually, I bet you could do something with Jupyter notebooks. Don't they because we're going to get a better and better notebooks, like interactive experience in Visual Studio, which I'm so excited about. If you're interested in that, follow everything Maria Nagaga does.
Yeah.
She will keep you up to date with what's possible. But like they already have code intermixed with graphs and visualizations and data and everything. I wonder if they host animated GIFs or something.
Well, you can do like even in VS Code using Jupyter Notebooks or using .NET Interactive, you can embed images. So I assume that a GIF would just play like an image. I haven't tested it yet because
we assume, but I remember how long it took GitHub to like support them. What did it not support? Maybe it was MP4s or something. It didn't support all types or anything for quite a while, and then it was a beautiful day when it was.
Well, MP4 can be hard too.
One last
file size. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was seeing the comments and I was going to jump in before we wrap up here. There is a question about Visual Studio for Mac and like will we be at feature parity with VS on Windows? I just want to be sure to hit on that one because that's a common question. Mm-hmm. The too easy answer for me is that we'll never be at 100% feature compatibility because there are things like Windows specific we could never support. But that's not as useful an answer as like getting to the point of like how much full parity. So that's one that for the release that we're working to, like in the first half of the next calendar year, we won't be at 100% of like the C# developer experience parity, but we are working toward those. And we, out of the sheer size of some of the differences in the code bases, it'll take time to move through those. So we go off of a priority-based list based on what is most used by developers, what we get votes for. So the best way you can contribute in that is to help vote on our developer community website for features you want to see. As far as the origins of the product, we're sharing more and more code. The code base is now behind the scenes a lot more unified than 4 years ago. So we're able to bring over things like some of the same code for how we do refactorings is just some of those just come in for free, or some changes in the editor like subword navigation. We had to do very little to bring that in from Visual Studio. So it's easier for us to move at that to make progress on these. But it'll be a while till we can hit the full core C# developer experience, which is what I look at. The C# developer experience for code, debug, test, run, deploy, that kind of a space.
Cool. And I think, to really hit that hammer on the nail. Oh, why can't we do acronyms? Why can't we do things today?
Why can't we do metaphors today?
I think, it isn't a rebadging of anything anymore. VS for Mac is VS for Mac. It's using so much of the editor, so much of the code base from VS IDE that it is essentially a whole new IDE. There are still some components that we're migrating over to Cocoa and to the new UI. But so much of it is, and if you download like an old version of, VS 2017, like GA, and then VS 2022 GA or 2019, and compare them, you'll see those differences are night and day. One of the things that it's kind of like this, I'm going to get this metaphor right. It's like the, heating up the water when the frog's in it. And that's kind of right. Like you don't always notice the changes if you're using it every day, but if you compare it side by side, the differences are crazy.
Oh yeah.
I'm
still jealous of that light bulb search that you added, because our light bulb, when it has a huge menu, VS for Mac has this ability to search within the light bulb. Oh, I like it so much.
I don't know how to do the clicking and promoting, but Aztec Consulting said I've been using Azure Data Studio. I can't wait for its notebook function to expand. I'd also check out the VS Code notebook experience as well. It's got Jupyter, so support for, there you go, Julia, Python, and R, which I learned that's what Jupyter stands for. JU for Julia, PY for Python, T because whatever, and then R for R.
Cool.
So we're going to add .NET, so it's going to be like Jupyter with added an in somewhere in there.
I love when things make sense in multiple ways. Man, we got like a bunch of cool comments at the very end, but I think we got to close out if we all have like 11 o'clock meetings that we're already late for.
Well, if I don't want to go to my 11 o'clock meeting.
Well, you're invited to stay. Just click the end at some point whenever you need to go to bed.
Actually, Cody's already messaged. Kendra won't let me leave. Sorry, I can't make it to this meeting. It's
I'm trapped in a live stream. So
Kendra told me to go play video games and take a nap. So.
Oh gosh, thank you guys so much for the chat. I escaped the server cables. Yes, I might have interrupted some of the .NET stream when I got lost. Yeah, okay. Cool, thank you all so much. This was super fun. I loved this. It's just geeking out. Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, it's probably one of our longer episodes too.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Be well, all. Take care.